is set to meet today to discuss the Financial Bill 2020, which will guide government expenditure for the next year starting July. Let us speak to our editor, Henry Githaiga, who is joining us from our City Centre studios. Henry Githaiga, good morning. Kindly talk to us about the budget.
Good morning, Brenda. As you know, business must continue and the running of government must continue. So even as we fight the COVID-19 virus, the government still has to plan for the next financial year. So today, the Budget Committee will be meeting to discuss exactly that, how the government will be able to spend money in the next year, how they will raise that income, and what areas they need to cut in terms of the budget. The finance bill is set to be read out in Parliament early next month, that is in June. In that month, most of the issues that will be looked at is how government will spend its money, where it will be collecting its money, and how it will be planning to recover from the COVID-19 menace. And this also means that the government has had to rethink the way that the budget initially was prepared. Initially, the budget was projected to go to about 2.9 trillion shillings. However, given that the government has had to make some cuts, even offering people tax exemptions, reducing VAT, reducing the topmost amount of income tax that people would pay from 30% to 25%. It has had to forego a lot of income. So we expect that when the Budget Committee meets today, it will be asking other committees to table recommendations on how the budget can be readjusted. Remember, when the initial finance bill was prepared, they had not projected that the COVID-19 virus would hit the economy this hard. Brenda.
Henry, it's good you've talked about something that I really wanted to ask you about, and that is raising funds to fund the budget for the 2020-2021 financial year. Because of COVID-19, we've seen, tax relief to people earning, way less. So how is the government going to ensure that, actually government together with members of parliament, going to ensure that this budget is well funded?
So actually, I think the biggest thing that we would expect is that when the final budget is read later in June this year, there will be a cut in the original plans because already we have seen that the government has lost over 172 billion shillings since they put in place the measures to reduce the amount of taxes that they are collecting. And their original projections had been they would collect 1.88 trillion shillings in terms of revenue from taxes. Already we are seeing that being revised to about 1.62 trillion shillings to cater for the losses that COVID-19 may have caused on the economy. However, we don't know how long we will be under lockdown, how long the virus will persist, and how long the economic measures that have been put in place to mitigate against the suffering that Kenyans are undergoing due to job losses, a decline in economic activity. How long that will last will also determine how much the government can collect. So it is going to be tough times for both national government, county governments, and parliament, which is empowered under the 2010 Constitution and the PFM Act to come up with budget proposals and approve those budget proposals as presented to them by Treasury. So we expect that when they do meet today, they will be asking the other committees to chime in and give them recommendations on where some of the cuts can be made, and then we would expect them to meet again before June, before the budget is tabled, and send those recommendations to the National Treasury to make their own reductions before the final budget is presented. We expect the final budget to be presented in June. So the most likely time that Parliament will reconvene again would be about the second Thursday of June. That is, and the budget across East Africa is supposed to be read before or on the 14th of June each year. So we expect quite a lot of movement in the next 1 month as both the parliamentary committees try to realign the budget, government ministries take a few more cuts, and Treasury puts in its own proposals.
Henry Githaiga, thank you so much. Our editor, Henry Githaiga, talking to us about the finance bill when it comes to the country's budget of the financial year 2020-2021. Now, away from that, matters COVID